Elizabeth and my wife. Affectionately known to friends and associates as Bess, she is every bit the people person that I am not. She was standing with her back to me, pouring a glass of wine. I stood, leaning against the counter, lost in thought. The guests had gone and the servers were tidying house before they left. Bess glanced my way, on her way out of the kitchen but said nothing. I closed my eyes and took several deep breaths. Suddenly I smelled my wife's shower gel. I opened my eyes and saw Lindsey walk into the room wearing Bess's robe. "Oh," she said, seeing that I was alone. "Bess." "Great room," I said, motioning with my head. "Ah," she said. "Coffee?" "Just finishing," I said, nodding at the second pot. Lind made her way around the bar, careful not to touch me. I left her there, setting my mug on the bar, and went for my turn in the shower, still trying to process how my life had changed in the last few hours. After showering, I wandered into the backyard to survey the damage after the storm. The sun had long set and the moon was climbing into the sky, bathing the yard in pale light. It didn't look too bad. The tent was still up, but some of the chairs and tables had blown around a bit. There were small branches littering the yard. Leaves and flower petals floated in the pool. At the sound of the sliding door, I looked up. Bess came out to stand beside me. "Not too bad?" she asked. "Doesn't look like it," I said. "Might need to add chlorine to the pool." "Probably." When she stopped talking, silence grew between us like a real, tangible thing. We stood there for perhaps 10 minutes, neither saying a word. "Will you say something, please?" she asked. As she was talking, her phone chirped. She took it out and glanced at it. "It's Kathy," she said. "Her roommate's mother is visiting next month. Wants them to stay the night." "Does she speak English?" I asked. Kathy's roommate was Japanese. "I assume so," she said. She dashed off a quick text and put her phone away. Our daughter, Kathy, was a college student an hour away. She spent many weekends here studying when she wasn't waiting tables. I sighed. Did Bess know about Lindsey and me? Is that why she was being like this? Are Lindsey and Kayla still here? I asked. Yes, they're putting the dishes away. They might stay the night. Reg is on a late flight to Denver, you know. Reg, our son, traveled a lot for his job. His wife Kayla also worked with my wife, managing social media, answering mail, and generally helping keep the writing machine running. She was smart and pleasant to have around, but Bess and I needed to talk. Christ, Elizabeth. Seems like there's always someone staying over. And it was true. If it wasn't Lindsey, who had stayed too late and didn't want to drive home in the dark, it was Kayla, who didn't like staying in an empty house when Reg was away. She started to say something, but stopped. She turned to gaze at the woods and then walked into the yard to view the fields to the east. "You're right," she whispered at last. I kept my silence, waiting for her to go on. "What I mean is," she said, her voice no longer steady. I know you've been naughty, but I'm afraid I'm so much worse," she whispered. A wave of nausea swooped through my belly, but I didn't move. Despite my recent infidelity, I was poised to explode in anger. "Tell me," I said, my voice shaking. "Best to get it all out in the open." "Oh, Greg. I'm so sorry. Once Lind and I started, I just couldn't get enough. I found out that I was bisexual, and that was a huge, huge thing for me. But I finally realized that I'm not bisexual. Not nausea now, but vertigo overtook me." I held up a hand to stop her, wishing that I was sitting down. Wait. What? You're bisexual? You and Lindsey?" "Yes, that's why I sent her out there for you this afternoon. I thought that maybe you wouldn't hate me so much," she said. "But, no, honey, I'm not bisexual." "What? How can that be?" I asked. If you and Lind, then yeah, you are. Which, truthfully, wouldn't have bothered me all that much. I always thought that she could cheat on me with all the women she wanted, and I wouldn't care. I just didn't want her cheated on me with other men. What does that say about me? Am I insecure? Maybe. I just never thought it would bother me. She walked away a couple of steps, then turned back to me, tears rolling down her face. No, sweetheart. I'm not bisexual. She put a hand on my chest and broke down completely. I'm gay, she wailed, finally, collapsing in sobs on my chest. I held her as she cried uncontrollably. Gay? A lesbian? I thought. Where do we go from here? I asked after several minutes. We had moved to the patio table and were sitting in relatively dry chairs. That's a good question, she said, wiping her eyes and nose with a tissue she produced from a pocket. Before we get to that, you need to know something else. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. I said, my voice rising. One little thing, she said. Okay, one big thing. One kind of relatively huge thing. God, woman, spit it out, I grumbled. You know how Lindsey and Kayla are good friends? Yes. And you know how Reg spends so much time away? Oh God. Yes. Well, they're really good friends. Is that it? Is this some kind of emotional payback? No, darling. Don't darling me. I growled. If there's something more, spit it out. She looked at me, and speaking in a low, quick monotone said, Kayla came over one day to work on something and found Lindsey and me swimming. She joined us, and then she and Lynn started fooling around. One thing led to another and I got pulled in, too. Are you telling me that you cheated on me with our daughter-in-law? Kind of, she said. They have a semi-open marriage, so she doesn't think of it as cheating. That was news. Really? Semi-open? What does that mean, exactly? I asked, intrigued in spite of myself. They won't have ongoing affairs, but if one is away, they don't mind a little fun on the side. Lucky bastard, I said, thinking of my son, Reg. Lucky you mean, she said. What? What are you talking about? I'm talking about you and me. Kayla and Lindsey. I'm talking about me being gay and I'm really sorry about this, not wanting with you anymore. What? You want a divorce? I asked. No, she said. At least I don't think so. Not if we can work it out. I still love you and hopefully we'll be grandparents someday. But I'm just not attracted to you that way. I'm not sure I ever was. That was one hell of a blow to the ego, let me tell you. So how is this a good thing? I asked. It's a good thing because both Lindsey and Kayla want to take over for me. Take over? For you. That's right. She picked up her phone. Sorry. Hang on. She answered a text quickly. Yes, she repeated. They're willing to take care of you if you want. Of course, if you would rather divorce and find someone else. Her voice trailed off and tears rolled down her face again. The patio door slid open and Kayla and Lindsey walked out. Anyone still want coffee? Kayla asked, leaning down and kissing my wife on the cheek. Hi, Greg, Lindsey said, her face scarlet. I didn't feel like talking. Or looking at anyone. Or getting up and walking away. So I sulked at the table. There's still half a pot, Kayla said. But it's getting kind of late. Kayla sat beside me and Lindsey sat across the table. So, have you gotten to all the good parts? Kayla asked. Just about, Bess said. I looked over sharply and she held up a hand. Just one little thing, Bess said. Kayla and Reg are trying to have a baby. They're having trouble. Oh, I'm Well, I'm sorry, I said. I was suddenly struck by the oddness of the conversation. Sorry, how is that relevant to the situation? I asked. It's relevant because you might be called on to help things along, Bess said. But I had a vasectomy years ago. I can't help, I said. No, but there are reversal surgeries. We're still trying, Kayla said. It might not be an issue. I was way over my limit for talking in a single day, but I took a deep breath and tried to calm myself. So, let me see if I can get this in a nutshell, I said. Somehow, Bess and Lindsey decided to become lovers. I don't know the details. Then you decided to involve Kayla, your daughter-in-law, in the mix. You're all having lesbian 3 and you decide that you don't want with me, your husband, anymore, but your lesbian lovers will be happy to with me whenever I want. Oh, and I might need to have microsurgery so that I can impregnate one of them at some point in the future. Is that about it? Sounds about right, Kayla said. Kayla and I were together a long time before. Lindsey started, but trailed away when she saw the look on my face. Yeah, that's about it, she said. I'm the lesbian, not them, Bess said. But I love you and want to stay married if you can open your mind and broaden your definition of marriage. I headed down to the pool the next morning. I needed physical activity to clear my mind. I didn't know what to make of the situation. And, given that situation, I decided to swim with my trunks on today. It was bright and sunny, quite a contrast to the day before. I had swum nearly 20 laps before I began to feel fatigued. I kept pushing another 15 or so before I took a break and sat on the edge. When I did, I saw Kayla sitting on the other side of the pool, watching me. I leaned my head back, letting the sun hit my face and tried to ignore her as I caught my breath. This is the way things are now, she said. You're going to have to make the best of the situation. You're not wrong, I said after nearly a minute. Are you angry? I don't think so, I said. So? What then? I think I'm sad, and excited, and angry, all at the same time. Anything else? She asked. I sighed heavily. I don't want to lose my wife, I said. But I desperately want you. She leaned in and kissed me. I wrapped my hand in her hair, connecting with her in that first kiss in a way that I never had with my wife. Wait, are you sure Reg would be okay with this? I asked. Do you guys have rules or something? Kind of, she said. If he knew it was you, he might be pissed. What he doesn't know won't hurt him. Surely he'll find out eventually, I said. Maybe, she said. Kayla, that was indescribable, I said. Thank you. Just the first installment, Pop, she said. I owe you a lot more for all the ones Bess has given me. The gate clanged and Lindsey came into the enclosure, smiling when she saw us. Hi guys. Whatcha doing? She asked. Just finishing up, Kayla said. Lindsey gave her a quick peck on the mouth, then leaned in to kiss me for real. Again, I felt a deep connection with this girl that I had never known before, or had at least forgotten. Life is about change. How we respond to that change says a lot about us as people. I was beginning to think that I was going to be okay with it.